when I had the idea that I was going to start my company, I didn't have any idea what I was getting into, to be honest with you. So I think a lot of people break at that point. Is it's a lot more work than you could ever imagine, but the reward is also a lot more than you can ever imagine if you keep going through it.
Talk a little bit about the journey as an entrepreneur, sometimes how lonely it is when you're sitting there in those late nights trying to figure out how to engineer by yourself, and you got people that don't necessarily believe in you, or they believe in you but they think that you've done enough.
Yeah.
Talk about how hard that journey is, because I think a lot of business owners, they don't know what's in store as they're trying to grow and scale, and as you get bigger, it actually gets a little more lonely. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the biggest thing, especially for me, and I probably speak for a lot of people, is, I was a great technician, can build anything out of concrete. And when I had the idea that I was going to start my company, I didn't have any idea what I was getting into, to be honest with you. So I think a lot of people break at that point. Is it's a lot more work than you could ever imagine, but the reward is also a lot more than you can ever imagine if you keep going through it. So, but as I kept growing through the company and getting larger, all of a sudden you start looking at everybody around you and the people that were kind of supporting and get you there, like I spoke about earlier. All of a sudden you're starting to get a little bit bigger than them, or a little bit more progressive, so to speak, and you feel like you're by yourself, literally. Like you don't have that friend you can call on the phone and say, hey, I'm going through this issue. It was like I felt like I was by myself, and really struggling with that for a lot of years. Just trying to find someone that I can, like a mentor, or somebody I can confide in, or somebody that's been through it that can help me kind of figure out the steps.
So when you first started listening to us, and you were in search of, you knew you needed something, you just didn't know what.
Yeah, and believe me, there was a lot of stuff out there that people can spend a lot of money on, and nothing attracted me over all those years. So like the decision was pretty instantaneous, and I'm not sure the connection wise. I can't really tell you what connected with me, other than the fact that everything that I was trying to figure out, you guys were portraying that or conveying that pretty clearly. But it was the fact that you just aren't going to tell me what I'm doing wrong or what I need to do, but you guys will show me how to do it. And that's where everybody fails. There's plenty of people to tell you what you're doing wrong, or in theory what you should be doing, but nobody can tell you how to do it. And I honestly believe if they could all do it, they'd be doing it. So
and then you get involved, and right away you realize these guys are speaking the language that I clearly understand.
Yes.
Because you know what your gaps were, and you know what your struggles were. The thing for me that's frustrating is when business owners do hear things like this, and they're like, oh, those guys, or what do they know about my space? Well, we launched in the HVAC space. And as you know, we have a partnership with Jeff at Start Concrete. So I'm sure that you'll be part of that deal, because we're going to do a national concrete. The first thing, if you went and told people, I'm going to work with this Brandon Dawson guy, the first thing they say is, what can he possibly help you with? He doesn't know anything about concrete. That's what all the naysayers in the HVAC space. How does he know anything he doesn't know? We've been doing this our whole life.
Within the last year, I have known or figured out or understood that businesses are business. They all operate. The way you operate, the way you grow a business is the same. My ignorance prior to that was thinking that you had to know, if you were going to help me, you had to know how to pour concrete. That's where my ignorance was. And so this last year, with the clarity and a lot of it, with the research that you've done, and you've shown that across all the businesses, the metrics on all those, I mean, it doesn't matter what business it is.